SCP-420 is called aggressive skin condition. I could have swore it was going to be about Mary Jane. It's not though. It's about, I don't know, an anomalous rash or something. Listen, I've had skin conditions before. They suck. I've had family members and relatives with them and stuff. They're unsightly. They always worrisome. People don't like looking at them. You feel embarrassed by them. They usually itch or burn or peel or... It's nasty. I'm kind of getting grossed out just thinking about it. But shit, we gonna have to check this out, because if it's an anomalous skin condition, you know it's gonna be bad. This was my Dr. Bob, guys. Make sure to subscribe. Subscribe to me if you like reaction videos, and give me a like on the video. And let's get into this one.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning on a work night, and the last of the bar hoppers and club goers have long since turned in. At the end of the street, the last bar is finally closing down for the night. Or it would, except that the bartender is having trouble getting rid of a customer.
Uh-oh.
Sitting at the bar, an old derelict is demanding yet another drink. The bartender grumbles in annoyance. This derelict is sloppy drunk, and the bartender just wants to go home.
I guess so,
Closing
man.
Time, growls the bartender.
I've been there. I used to wait tables and bartend.
Protests the derelict,
People not wanting to
shaking
leave.
his empty glass for emphasis.
Just get out,
You got
man.
money? He laughs at his own words, his giggles
Got
ending
money.
with a loud belt.
We don't
that
want
blows
money,
a
we
cloud
wanna
of
go home.
aromatic vapor into the bartender's face. That's it. This derelict has been hanging out at
Throw
this
him
bar
out.
causing trouble all night, and the bartender has had enough.
Get him out of here.
Get out of here.
He's a
says the
bouncer and a
bartender as he
bartender?
hustles the wobbling derelict out the door.
Yeah.
You're done.
It's a
The
small
derelict
joint.
creaks and totters as he stumbles out into the street.
He gonna turn
The
around and try to
night's
fight.
festivities
Watch.
are really hitting him. It isn't so often that he's got the money to burn, but when he does,
Oh, maybe
he
not.
likes to spend it here. The prices are right, and the conversation is minimal, which is just the way that he likes it.
Just sit there
Derelict
alone and
turns
drink.
around, fire in his eyes. He's raring to fight.
He does wanna
doesn't
fight.
care that the bartender is quite a bit larger than he is. Right now, all he can
He
see
can't even
is
see.
red. Don't tell me when I've had enough, he slurs, raising his fists as he prepares to lash out. But the bartender has already slammed the door in his face.
Go home,
Defeated,
man.
The derelict turns his back on the closed
Just go
bar
home.
and starts a slow stumble down the street. Stupid bartender, mutters the derelict, turning up his collar against the cold bite of the night air. He wishes
How are you
that he
cold?
just had one more drink to warm
With all
his
that
stomach
liquor?
against the chill. He's so out of it that he doesn't stop to think that the bartender
can't
did
see
him a
straight,
favor
but
by
you cold?
refusing to fight.
I
There
don't
is
know.
no way that the derelict would have won that battle. Even if he was in his physical prime, even if the bartender wasn't twice his size,
Oh,
the derelict
gosh.
is in no shape to fight. His
No.
vision is blurry and his head is swimming. In fact, he can barely remain upright. If he had any
Dang.
sense, he would probably stumble home and sleep
Go
this
home.
off. But the night is young, and he's not ready to give up yet.
It's 1
He
o'clock
walks
in the
down the
morning.
street, eyeing every storefront in hopes of finding another
Bars
bar.
close at 2 around
Unfortunately,
here,
every
2 a.m.
window has a closed
3 a.m.
sign
Some
in
of
it.
them, I'm sure.
He swears under his breath.
I think
What
they
a
stopped
run of
serving
bad luck.
alcohol at 2.
What's a guy supposed to do in this town, he wonders. Just when he's about to give up hope, he spies something glinting in the reflective halo of a street
I
lamp.
know you ain't
He
gonna
stumbles
drink
closer
something
to
off
get a
the
better
ground.
look, and he can hardly believe his eyes.
Ah,
Finally, his luck is changing. Someone has abandoned a half-empty bottle. Well, hello there, little friend.
You
says
don't
the
know where
derelict.
that's
He
been,
struggles
bruh.
to focus, but the world is spinning.
COVID?
In his confusion, he
Monkeypox?
could swear he's seeing things. But no, he can feel the heft of the glass bottle in his hand, and he knows that it is as real
can't
as he
even
is.
see it. It could
Who left
be
you
like
behind? Who would leave a
poison.
perfectly good bottle just sitting out here? He recognizes this brand. There's only about 3 fingers of liquid left, but that's better than nothing. Some people might balk at drinking out of a random bottle like you
Backwash.
found on the street, but the derelict doesn't give it a second thought. He tips the bottle back and slurps it all down. It burns going down, just as it should, he thinks. He sighs in contentment as he feels the harsh liquid warm his stomach. Perfect. That really hit the spot. But what happens next surprises him so much that he can't believe his eyes. There's still liquid in the bottle. He blinks, wondering if maybe his adult brain is playing tricks on him.
I
But
thought he
shakes
just
the
downed
bottle
it.
cautiously and is rewarded with the telltale swish of liquid. That's no illusion. He takes another swig, guzzling it down. Normally, he'd drop the bottle to the ground and stumble on.
Still
But
so?
something makes him pause. He
That's
maintains
the
his grip on
anomaly?
the bottleneck and raises it again to take another
Oh,
look.
maybe the liquid
Sure
gives the
enough,
skin
There's
condition.
still more left in the bottle. The derelict cannot believe his luck.
A bottle of
He
never
feels like he
in the
must have won the
liquid.
lottery. He's found a never-ending bottle. Already his mind is reeling with
It's a magic
possibilities.
item in Dungeons and Dragons
Bartender
like
really
that, but
thinks
it's
he's
just
so
water.
smart, he mutters to himself as he weaves unsteadily. But I don't need him anymore. See if I ever go to this stupid bar again.
Can you
He has
imagine how
lost
much you
his
could
best
sell that
customer.
for?
Now that I have you, little bottle, I don't ever need need to pay for drinks ever again.
Oh, that doesn't sound good,
It's the
though.
best day of my life, crows the derelict,
Wow.
raising his arms in triumph. He's barely able
I
to
feel
stagger
for
back
him.
to his home, a seedy apartment on the bad side of town, before he passes out on the floor. The morning sun rouses the slumbering derelict, and he rises with a groan. His
He's
whole
in a
body
dump,
aches,
too.
and his mouth feels dry and
He's an
parched.
alcoholic
That's
again.
par for the course after a night
Yeah,
of drinking.
he's
But
got a
somehow this
hangover.
hangover feels different.
Oh,
He puts that thought out of his mind as his mind
'Cause
returns
it's an
to the
anomalous
strange,
hangover?
never-empty bottle that he discovered the night before. It's lying on its side on the floor next to him. He reaches for the
Still with
mysterious
liquid?
bottle, only to find that, in fact, the previous night was not a dream. The bottle still contains just
That's
as much as it
crazy,
did the night
bruh.
before. He
I
can't
wish I had
explain
the
it,
diet
but the
soda
derelict
bottle
isn't
like
about
that.
to question his good fortune.
even water would be
He
great.
lifts himself to his feet and walks slowly into the bathroom.
Not
He's feeling a
What-
hangover
whatever
like
it-
he's never felt
do it
before.
to him.
His head is pounding and his throat is dry.
That
his tongue
sucks,
feels
dude.
swollen and sluggish inside his mouth, but he knows how to handle it. A little hair of the dog is all you need to help with the hangover.
that is
He
another
takes
beer,
another
I
gulp
think?
from his
Oh
bottle.
gosh.
This time it brings little relief. And he notices something else strange too. It's his scalp. The skin on his head has started to itch. and he
Uh-oh,
can't
it
stop
is
scratching.
doing it, y'all.
He feels like he's got the world's worst dandruff problem. He should probably take a shower, he thinks.
I've been there too, man.
He strips down and
Not
steps
from
into the tub,
alcohol, but
turning the hot water on full blast and letting it wash over him. The shower only brings him temporary relief. Afterward, as he dries himself off,
Feels great
the towels
after
feel
a
rough
night
and
of
abrasive
drinking.
against his skin. His
Uh-oh.
skin comes off in big flaky patches, and his nails leave red trails in their wake.
Oh my
What's that?
god.
Is that blood? He
It's not
examines his
eczema.
fingers to see that his nails have grown into ragged claw-like talons. With a frightened yelp,
Oh,
he
because
bites
they
them
dead
off.
skin.
It's easy to do.
Oh!
Although they look formidable, his
Bruh.
fingernails are weak and brittle, almost as if he's dealing with a sudden calcium
Oh
deficiency.
no,
What could
no,
be
no,
wrong with him?
no.
He remembers all the warnings he heard back in school when they used to march everyone into assembly to listen to lectures from the local police. At the time, he scoffed at the long lists of scary-sounding consequences of a lifetime of drinking.
Long-term drinking,
Now,
yeah.
he's not so sure.
Just go to the
It's
doctor,
probably
bro.
nothing, he says as he
They're not
examines
gonna be able to
himself
help
in the
you if it's an
bathroom mirror.
anomaly, but
His
just
skin
just
looks
saying.
blotchy and infected. It doesn't take long before his hair and nails
Oh
are out
my
of control.
God.
His hair grows down to his shoulders, but comes out in big ragged clumps if he runs his fingers through it. His claw-like fingernails are constantly breaking and cracking until his fingertips are bloody, and his quick is itchy and infected. If his habits had left him looking worse for wear before, he really looks awful now. For the next week, he barely leaves the apartment.
This is
He pulls
gross,
the curtains
dude.
and keeps the lights off, afraid that someone might see him. When the landlord bangs on the door, shouting that rent is late and demanding that the derelict hand over the money, he doesn't answer. He waits. The
He ain't got
landlord
no
gives
money?
up for now.
I know he ain't been
That's
working.
good, thinks
He
the
ain't even
derelict.
been out to the
It'll give him
bars.
time to think, time to figure out what to do about his disease. He knows that something is not right.
Oh
Many
my
of the local
God.
bartenders are, by now, probably wondering where he's gone. It's not like the
Yeah, if
derelict
he's
to
a
stay
regular.
away. He's practically kept the bar industry in this town afloat all by himself.
Bruh.
It must be something major indeed
Sucker
to keep him
drinks a
away from
lot.
his favorite poison. Luckily, he still has the bottomless bottle to comfort him during this trying time.
Oh, and he's
The
still
derelict
drinking.
is certain that he's caught some bad bug, but he thinks that he can wait it out. All he needs to do
And
is
drink
make
it
it through
away?
the next week, and everything will be fine.
You need a
Sipping
doctor.
free drinks helps him to pass the time in a pleasant stupor as he waits for his health to return.
This unbelievable,
Unfortunately,
man.
things are only going to get worse for him.
That's like
His hair and fingernails keep growing to the point that he
Oh.
has trouble lifting the bottle without his twisted nails getting in the
Oh.
way. His dry, flaky skin is changing as well, becoming thick and leathery and hanging off him in great folds like the hide of an elephant or a rhinoceros.
oh my
His skin
god.
continues to grow until the folds flop over his knees and gradually hang lower and lower until they touch the ground.
He's
Moving
turning
is
into
harder
a
now that he's
cocoon.
carrying so much extra weight. He thought at first he just had a nasty bug, but he clearly picked up some weird skin condition, and even this
Bruh.
derelict, sodded as he might be, suspects exactly where he got it. It's
The
got to be
bottle.
that crazy bottomless bottle. He can't think of another reason. Even so, he can't bring himself to part with this little gift from heaven.
Oh my
Even in his darkest
God.
hour, a few sips of liquid courage always helps to calm his nerves. He considers lumbering down to the free clinic in hopes that they might be able to cure him or at least tell him what's wrong with his skin.
Yeah.
But he thinks better of this option. What if he's got some weird alien parasite that no one has ever seen before?
Well, yeah,
They might
wouldn't
lock
you
him
want
away
to
in some
know?
government lab or something. No,
Better
he
than
reasons
dying.
it's better to wait it out. He'll
Oh
sleep it
my
off, swear off the sauce for a little while, and maybe it'll
God.
pass. In desperation, the derelict drags himself across the floor, hoping to at least find some solace away from human contact. He locks himself into his bedroom while he's still able to manipulate the lock on his door. The extra folds of skin are hanging off of his hands and arms, making it hard to do anything.
Horrible.
The extra skin is so heavy that he can't walk much, carrying all that extra weight. He lies on the floor of his bedroom, away from everything, and hopes that tomorrow, when he wakes up, this will just be a fleeting dream.
Just die already.
The
Can
only
you
thing that
imagine
brings
the
him solace
agony?
is the never-ending bottle, which even now in his advanced state of
Still
decay, he
drinking.
keeps close by him. After all, he reasons, the damage is already done.
Oh,
what could possibly be the harm in enjoying a nice drink? A week later, his condition has not passed. The landlord is back, and this time he's not taking no for an answer. The landlord isn't supposed to enter his tenant's apartment without permission. He doesn't care. He uses his own key to unlock the door.
You can't get permission if they don't answer. Oh,
the condition of the apartment is appalling. The furniture is broken, the floor is covered with unidentifiable filth, and there's a rotten stench in the air. The landlord wants to throw up as the full weight of the musty smell hits him in the face. It's as if someone has been living in here without any ventilation, with all the windows firmly closed and sealed. A sudden noise from the bathroom draws his attention. Of course, thinks the landlord.
Oh, no.
That old bum is hiding in there. He thinks I won't find him.
He done turned into a monster, y'all. I know it.
Heads towards the bathroom, determined to get the money that he feels is owed to him.
It was a cocoon.
But what greets him when he steps through the door isn't the derelict anymore. It isn't even human. The creature in the bathroom is a massive pile of ambulatory skin folds. The skin flaps have grown so large and cumbersome that the derelict within can barely move. They sprout all over his body, covering him so that he looks more like some kind of alien sea cucumber now than any human. The landlord stumbles backwards, screaming in terror at the sight, unable to comprehend what he's looking at. Improbably, the creature reacts to the noise, and a ripple of movement spreads across its surface. It starts to move, despite not having any legs. The landlord is so terrified that he doesn't notice the glass bottle that suddenly drops from between the creature's skin folds as it starts to move toward him. The same bottle, still with 3 fingers of liquid inside. How could something like this happen? What parasite or disease did the derelict contract from the miracle bottle he found? Sadly, this never-ending bottle isn't a boon, but a curse.
No,
and the man who found it
absolutely.
That night became just another victim of what the SCP Foundation has classified as SCP-420.
Oh my god.
SCP-420 looks like a perfectly ordinary bottle of a certain popular libation, even to the point that it bears the label of a common brand. The bottle always contains a small amount of a mysterious liquid known as SCP-420-1. If this liquid is poured out, SCP-420 will always replenish itself. When SCP-420-1 is potent, it is physically, chemically, and molecularly indistinguishable from ordinary whiskey, although drinking will have an effect far greater than even the strongest liquor. When SCP-420-1 is poured out of SCP-420, though, it undergoes a strange transformation, eventually losing its potency and changing until it is indistinguishable physically, chemically, or molecularly from urine. Consuming potent SCP-420-1 instigates a bizarre physical transformation called SCP-420-2 in 6 stages. In Stage 1, beginning 12 hours after consumption, the subject will start to have difficulty speaking, resulting in slurred speech that is not consistent with normal alcohol inebriation. Their fingernails, toenails, and hair will start to grow at an accelerated rate, but also become brittle and prone to breakage. Nail breakage to the quick often leads to bleeding and infection. The Foundation has had some success in curing SCP-420-2 if it is caught when still in Stage 1, treating it as if it is an aggressive form of cancer with radiation and chemotherapy, as well as a constant intravenous supply of Formula 420A09T-T174B. Victims thus treated have a 73% recovery rate, but a 21% fatality rate.
Oh my
Phase 2 onward, this protocol can slow the spread of SCP-420-2, but will not stop it entirely. In Stage 2, beginning 1 to 2 weeks after Stage 1, the subject's skin begins to show similar properties to those exhibited by hair and fingernails in Stage 1, becoming dry, brittle, and prone to cracking. As old skin flakes off, the subject's new skin begins to grow at an accelerated rate, eventually forming thick leathery folds all over the subject's body. Skin flaps growing inside the mouth interfere with speech and eventually render subjects mute, but do not appear to impede breathing or eating. Indeed, subjects in Stage 2 exhibit a renewed interest in eating, possibly because the subject's body requires additional nutrients and calories to build the increasingly heavy armor of thickened, calloused skin. Stage 2 subjects will eat anything that they can get their hands on, and many
Even
die
roaches?
after attempting to eat poisonous or inedible objects.
That would be
Stage
merciful,
3,
though.
beginning 3 to 6 weeks after Stage 2, nerves in the skin layer grow uncontrollably, but no longer connect to the victim's central nervous system. Genetic testing of the skin in this stage reveals that its DNA has become so mutated that it can no
Who
longer be
wrote this,
classified as
dude?
human. It is, in fact, a separate and very inhuman organism that almost acts as a parasite growing from the human host. The skin may develop
Just
tumor-like
feeding on
growths, which appear to be analogous to human muscle and secretory cells.
Does it ever
Hair and
kill him?
fingernails sprout randomly from the mass of skin.
Ah!
By Stage 4, beginning 3 to 7 days after Stage 3, the skin has
my
become
God.
a mass of thick, leathery folds, completely covering the human host to the point that they disappear completely. The skin
Jeez.
begins to exhibit random twitching movements, as though it is indeed a living organism finally coming into its own as a life form
God
and testing out its
dang.
new body. The human subject within the skin continues to eat, although brain scans
Like a
reveal that they are
huge
no longer in
maggot.
control of their mouth. Instead, the skin entity forces the mouth to move by moving the attached skin. Small holes begin to form in the skin, eventually growing into narrow tunnels
not
or
even
throats
dead.
that lead
They
back to
just
the now trapped body of the helpless subject.
Feeding this thing.
The subject is still consumed with a ravenous hunger and will eat anything that they can get in their mouth.
Right.
In Stage 5, beginning 1 to 2
A
days
big
after
hairy
Stage 4, the skin begins to
skin
move
nugget.
in patterns indicating rudimentary intelligence. The skin, although still attached to the original subject, is now completely and distinctly non-human. It is its own organism. It can move of its own accord, dragging the trapped host along for the ride, and it
is
moves and
beyond
feeds much in the
words,
manner of
y'all.
an extremely large amoeba. It feeds
Dumbfounded
by
with
excreting a
disgust.
digestive enzyme onto foodstuffs and then enveloping the nutrients with its skin folds, again like an amoeba surrounding its food.
It just
The food is taken
absorbs
into the
it.
throats. These tunnels connecting the outside of the skin to the now completely subsumed host are now directly connected to the host's circulatory system and function as additional mouths.
Yeah,
They can
it's
consume
actually
nutrients which are
bull-
moved down their length by bristly hairs and further broken down by grinding keratinous plates before being taken into the host's body. Most hosts will remain in Stage 5 indefinitely, although there still remains a much more dangerous Stage 6 yet to come.
Really?
At this time, it's unknown what factor triggers SCP-420-2 to develop into Stage 6. Little information
even
about
know how
Stage
it
6 is
happens.
available at this time, although it is known that it
It maybe
involves
just
even
keeps
more
eating?
accelerated skin and keratin growth, resulting in a sudden increase in size and mass.
Wow.
Perhaps the most terrifying part of the entire transformation
Stay
is
alive
that
the
the host remains
whole
alive for the
time.
duration of the process, and sometimes even after SCP-420-2 has settled comfortably into its new life at Stage 5. Mercifully, most hosts will have completely succumbed to insanity by this point,
I
although
guess.
some are shown by brain scans to still be self-aware and quite calm, perhaps fading into a zen-like state as they accept the inevitability of their fate.
Wow.
SCP-420
It gives me
is contained in a
chills,
storage
man.
locker at an undisclosed site
Just seeing so
maintained by the
miserable, you
Foundation,
just
and
know.
it is only to be removed from this locker by SCP staff with Level 3 clearance or higher. It has been given the safe class because, despite the horrifying nature of its effects, at least it doesn't move anywhere.
It's not hard to contain.
Samples of SCP-420-1 not in use by testing should be stored in the container marked SCP-420-1 decon in locker 1014-420 until they lose potency, at which time they can be disposed of as biohazardous liquid waste. Victims infected with SCP-420-2 are not contagious and should be contained in standard solitary
goodness.
D-class secure confinement. On reaching Phase 3, subjects should receive double rations. Due to the extreme danger of Phase 6, any subjects who reach Phase 4 should be closely monitored for signs that the condition may be advancing further, in which case they are to be immediately destroyed by incineration.
Burn 'em.
Knowing the fate that befalls victims of SCP-420 should make anyone think twice about drinking out of a random bottle that you just found in the street. Though personally, I think that's just common sense.
I know,
I hope
right?
you enjoyed this anomaly, which was recommended by Dr. Bob Squad researcher Lawman23.
I don't know if I enjoyed
If you want to
it.
assist in recommending and choosing future anomalies to be analyzed, you too can join the Dr. Bob Squad by going to patreon.com/drbob.
That's awesome, man. That is
Now
some
go and
viewers
watch another entry from the
submitted
files
stuff.
of Dr. Bob, like SCP-747, Children and Dolls.
Y'all, this was so ridiculous. The idea. So first, it was such a sad story that this guy with a clear alcohol problem, right, a clear addiction, found this thing and just kept on drinking. Like it brings you through. Like I've been addicted to cigarettes before, so I know what it's like to be addicted. And when you really want it, that, and that's all you could do is think about it, drinking out of somebody else's bottle on the ground doesn't seem like that far of a stretch. You know what I mean, man? It's just, golly. I don't even know what to say. Other than that, this was just gross. It was out, just, I can't even explain how disgusting this was. It was very entertaining though. You know, it was shocking, but it was very entertaining. Dr. Bob, man, make sure to subscribe to him. Subscribe to me if you like reactions too. Don't drink out of bottles on the ground. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off, and we'll see you next time.